What's up, guys? This is Alex Longquist with RJ OCD Recovery, and we're back making videos. Got a whole bunch of great stuff planned for this year. First video, today we're going to be discussing a really interesting topic, something that I've been seeing a lot more often in the modern dating scene, and that is a woman or having a girlfriend who expresses that she hates all men, but she loves you and she's in a relationship. She wants to be in a relationship with you. What is that? Is that a good thing, or is that secretly a trap in the making? Let's discuss. I'll start off by saying that I have actually lived through this dynamic myself. I've been in a relationship exactly like this, so I know firsthand what it's like. At first, it feels quite validating, sort of like you've been chosen, especially like in my case, when you've had very poor success in dating up until that point where you're in that relationship. When you've dealt with a history of self-doubt and rejection, it's like a total flip where almost like you're passing this massive test and you feel like this very special person because this person with high standards or very specific communication about what they're looking for is choosing you. And you're this like big difference from everyone else. You're the wonderful exception. But here's the issue. If your girlfriend has openly expressed her frustration or anger or even full-on hatred towards men to you, or even just said it to her friends or on social media and you've heard or seen those things happen as well, you're getting a window into her emotional world, which is being dominated by resentment. And if somebody is operating out of that state, out of a state of resentment, you are therefore being chosen despite being a man and not being chosen because you are a man. There's a huge difference there. That puts you on a very unstable pedestal. If her baseline is that negative emotional state, she can switch up on you in an instant because you being the exception is fully conditional. You can very easily lose the status of being chosen if you do something that upsets her or triggers her. Even if you're the perfect boyfriend and you don't do anything wrong, eventually that resentment is going to boil over. The reality is that pervasive emotions always rise to the surface. They cannot be hidden or suppressed forever. And the higher that the stakes go in a relationship, the more pressure is going to be mounting in those emotions coming out and becoming more visible and active. One of the best benefits about being in a committed relationship is the fact that your pain comes out and becomes more visible so that you can heal it and resolve it as you're becoming more bonded and close and intimate with another person. But the issue is that most people don't have the tools and they don't have the self-awareness that's necessary to understand what's happening when that eventually arises, and they just live unconsciously by it. And they hold on to the same story that they've been telling themselves for all the years that they've been alive. It's pretty rare nowadays for somebody to have that recognition where they can just say, this is all just a story in my head and I can let go of it. I can let go of this frustration, resentment, anger, hatred whenever I want to. The reason why I don't think this type of relationship and relationship dynamic is a good idea for you to pursue is because she's always going to be working against this subconscious emotional resistance inside of her that is towards your biology. And that resistance is going to make it more difficult for her to truly love you for who you are, if not downright impossible. You do not want to mess with somebody who is hinting that they're operating out of this unconscious state of resentment. Resentment does not just disappear. It waits. And eventually it will explode just like a pressure cooker will once it's reached its threshold. In my estimation, there are even more long-term consequences to pursuing a long-term relationship like this. Let's say you got married to this woman and you eventually have a child with her. You have a young baby boy. Even if she is setting the conscious intention to love that little boy and be good to him and nurture him and be a good mother to him, the subconscious atmosphere is going to find its way into dominating her interactions with your son. If she does not choose to let go of this resentment and negativity towards men broadly, her parenting is going to show up as correcting or shaming the masculinity out of your child. If masculinity is framed as something that needs to be corrected, or something to fear, or something to apologize for, then the boy may grow up into having chronic self-doubt, major people-pleasing issues, or they'll overcompensate and be highly rebellious. Young and impressionable nervous systems of children do not run on exceptions. They pick up on the emotional environment that they're being raised in, and that's at a felt level. The real important key is her embodied relationship with masculinity itself. So here's my suggestion for what you want to look for in a healthy partner. Essentially, you are much better off looking for someone who is self-aware and is taking responsibility. For example, if she were to say something like, I was hurt by men in the past, but I'm taking the steps to heal. That is a massive green flag compared to, I hate all men or men are the problem. You want to look for somebody who is taking full accountability for their feelings, is open to nuance, is doing the inner work that's necessary to heal, and has respect for masculinity broadly. And please understand this. This is not about rejecting women who have pain inside. This is about refusing to be the container for pain that somebody isn't taking responsibility for. The goal here is not to create more bitterness and toxicity and resentment between the sexes. That's the last thing that we want. Instead, what we're doing is we're using discernment and protecting our own energy. You cannot be responsible for another person's state of consciousness, and you can't convince them to let go of their limiting beliefs and limiting negative stories. They are the only ones who can do that. They have to decide for themselves. Final note that I want to share here is that nobody ends up winning if either of the sexes is losing. This is not a zero-sum game. This is not men versus women. This is about whether relationships are built upon healing or resentment. Healthy relationships only work when both sexes are respected. So I hope this video served as a reminder that we both need each other. Men need women and women need men. Acting like that's not true is complete denial. Hopefully I convinced you on a productive way to go about a situation like this if you find yourself in it. And if you as a man are holding on to deep resentment, anger, or hatred for women, I hope you can also work on letting those feelings go, because it's no different from a woman holding being a man against you. Remember, be respectful, be kind, be loving, and choose your partners wisely. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.